there is a range of dysfunction. In that narrow functional range, once you're outside of functional, that's where you start to feel like crap. And you're like, something's wrong, something's up, something's not right with me. And you're in a dysfunctional range, but it's still normal. Normal according to who? That's a whole other conversation. But when you're in that dysfunctional range, it's bad where you're having symptoms, you know something's off. Again, I'm going to use that iron level. You're fatigued, you're not building muscle as quickly, you don't recover as well, you feel like you need more sleep, things aren't right? You're just like, this isn't right. I'm trying to eat more foods with iron in it. I'm trying to take an iron supplement, etc. But you're still not feeling right. But they're not going to do anything major about it because it's not outside that range. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. Have you ever been told that your labs are normal and you don't feel normal? Ever went into the doctor's office and they said, oh yeah, we'll run a lab. And they run very basic blood labs, run a CBC, a complete blood panel, nothing else. Take a look at it and say, oh, your labs are fine. You must be fine. First off, we're going to talk about the labs that get ordered. And then we're going to talk about what is normal and what is functional. A functional range is a different range than a normal range because things don't become dysfunctional or out of range suddenly, magically overnight, right? For most people, right? And there are certain diseases or dysfunction or something like that. Like, that's not what I'm talking about, right? And I'm speaking as my dog has Addison's. Addison's is a disease where your adrenals don't produce cortisol. It happens in humans too. And that can be something that onsets fairly quickly. Most of the time, what we're talking about are things that onset slowly. I'm going to use anemia or iron deficiency as an example for this. Anemia is one of the most common deficiencies in the world, being iron deficient, not getting enough iron either through your diet or not being able to absorb it. It's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. Or are there other things getting in the way of the utilization of that iron and storage of that iron in your system? And that's where an iron panel comes in versus just checking like your hemoglobin or something, right? You want to see your ferritin and percent saturation and all those other things. This is my example for it. But most of the time, right, if you wake up and you're thinking, gosh, I'm a little tired, I'm a little sluggish today. Maybe I'm coming down with a virus. Maybe I'm just not feeling good. Maybe I just need an extra cup of coffee. Maybe this or that or the other, right? And you're thinking, this isn't that bad. I can still function. So you push through your day. And that keeps happening again and again and again. 6 months later, you're getting more and more tired. A year later, it's now real bad. You have a hard time keeping your eyes open. In fact, when you come home from work, if you sit down, you know you're going to fall asleep because you physically can't do it. It is physically hard for you to keep going. So you go in and they run a blood test and they're like, oh, well, like your red blood cells are fine. Your white blood cells are fine. You're fine. And you're thinking, okay, like I don't feel fine, right? Because you're not checking for an infection, right? You're not, right? You want to see your nutrient values. And unless you're getting some of those things run, it's real. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. So that's why it's so important to, one, get the correct labs run so you understand this is what's wrong in my system and here's what I can do about it. Right? And I'm speaking like a lot of women get diagnosed as anemic or having low iron levels, especially if they have heavy periods, things like that. They're like, oh, it's because you have a heavy period. Okay. Right. And also, I'm going to say this as an example. I use myself as an example all the time. So here we go. Using myself as an example for this. I always had a very low hemoglobin, always very low iron levels in my blood. As far back as I can remember. I remember being like 14, 15, getting my iron levels checked, and they were low, right? For women, they are supposed to be 12 to 14-ish, something like that. I was like at a 9, 8 on average, right? So end of middle school is where I remember this happening, through high school, getting it checked. In college, anytime I would get it checked, I even donated plasma in college, and there would be times that I'd be turned away because my iron levels were not okay. I even one time had a gal say, you know what, you come in and your iron's like at a 9. If it's at an 8 or below, they wouldn't let me donate plasma. I'd have to come back the next day or something. And she's like, she recognized me because I was there a lot. I was in college. And she's like, what? Like, what is this? Like, whatever, you got to eat more red meat. And I was like, I eat red meat. I can eat red meat every day. I eat spinach. This and that. I always cooked with a cast iron skillet. It wasn't about what I was eating, right? My iron levels didn't improve until I stopped eating gluten. I've never had a low iron number since. Never. The first half of my life, I was anemic. The first half. I think about that, and sometimes it absolutely enrages me that I was an athlete, right? That was my life. I got a scholarship to play volleyball in college. I was all about it. I trained so hard. I spent hours in the gym. I spent hours in my driveway. I would go to open gyms. I would go to camps. I busted my butt. I got up early. I stayed up late. I traveled, everything to be the best athlete I could be for half of my life. And I was anemic. I think about that a lot, like how different my life would have been if I wasn't freaking anemic all the time when I was growing up, what that could have done for my performance levels and everything. I had no idea. I didn't know what I didn't know. I just thought, well, it's not bad enough where they're going to give me a transfusion. So, okay, I guess I'll take these iron pills that really hurt my stomach more and don't seem to improve my iron levels anyway. So I stopped taking them because it wasn't about the iron intake. It wasn't about that at all. It was about the fact that I had a gluten issue and couldn't absorb any of the nutrients from the food I was eating. Literally, it changed everything for me. So when we talk about labs and we talk about these things, first you need to get the right labs run. Just having a regular lab or even testing my, basic hemoglobin or whatever at the doctor's office, was that enough? No one dug deeper. No one said, oh, are you really eating, red meat? I grew up on a goat farm. I ate like a farm kid, right? Like meat and potatoes all the time. Meat, veggies, potatoes. That's what it was. My sisters weren't anemic, right? I didn't have super heavy periods. I didn't have that. Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling at you. I don't mean to yell, but this is like, it gets me so fired up because I think about the things that I could have had in life or how different my life could have been. That I grew up Catholic. I used to be an altar server, right? A mass server. And so for 6 years, I remember blacking out and passing out, standing there in church, because you have to stand there and hold the book for the priest and all that stuff. So if you've been to a Catholic mass, you know what I'm talking about. I would black out or pass out all the time because I couldn't stand the anemic. And it's not that my mom wouldn't take me to the doctor. She would all the time. No one dug deeper. No one looked more, did more labs, researched anything, or said, oh yeah, it's low, but it's not dangerously low, so we're not going to do anything about it. It's not low enough where you'd need a transfusion. You're like barely hanging on here, but we'll see you later. You know what I mean? So this is the thing with functional labs. This is why I am so passionate about this stuff, because it's something that is, when you step outside the box and really look, it's an aha moment. It's like, duh, well, why don't we do that all the time then? You know what I mean? Or why is it when you don't feel good and you're going in to say, hey, can I get these labs run? Can I get my iron levels checked? Can I get my thyroid checked? And they tell you, well, yeah, we ran a basic panel and things look fine, blah, blah, blah. My favorite panels to have run, again, as a functional practitioner, functional medicine practitioner, CBC's a CMP, that's a metabolic panel, making sure you're getting an iron panel, a thyroid panel. That's more than one value associated to that. I will run inflammatory panels, HSCRP, ESRs, things like that. These are indicators that there's something going on. And then when you get those values back, here's the other thing is I call it being picky with the numbers and picky about the values, right? Because normal is a huge range. Functional is much smaller. You don't go from being within normal range to all of a sudden just pop out the next day. Oh, I wasn't anemic today, but yesterday, but today I'm all of a sudden anemic. And there we go. It builds up over time. There is a range of dysfunction in that narrow functional range. Once you're outside of functional, that's where you start to feel like crap. And you're like, something's wrong, something's up, something's not right with me. And you're in a dysfunctional range, but it's still normal. Normal according to who? That's a whole other conversation. But when you're in that dysfunctional range, it's bad where you're having symptoms, you know something's off. Again, I'm going to use that iron level. You're fatigued, you're not building muscle as quickly, you don't recover as well, you feel like you need more sleep, things aren't right? You're just like, this isn't right. I'm trying to eat more foods with iron in it. I'm trying to take an iron supplement, etc. But you're still not feeling right. But they're not going to do anything major about it because it's not outside that range. It's not outside the quote unquote normal range, but you're in the dysfunctional range. That's what I look at. I will look at labs, urine test labs, blood test labs, and say, okay, I don't care that this is within normal. I have a whole other range of functional and dysfunctional. And 9 times out of 10, women will come to me with issues. We'll run these labs and I'll say, oh, okay, yeah, you are in a state of dysfunction. There are times where it's outside of normal also. And I'm like, this is woo-hoo-hoo. 5-alarm fire here. We got to put this out. But so often is in that state of dysfunction. And that's where you can exist in that state of dysfunction for years, literal years. And everyone will tell you, well, your labs are within normal. They're not in a functional range, but they're within normal. So, we don't have anything to tell you. We don't have anything to do for you. Oh, try an iron supplement. Oh, okay, see you later. Right? That's it. And unless you have someone saying, okay, your levels are off, and you don't feel good, you're in a state of dysfunction and you have these symptoms, I'm going to put that together and we're going to look at the entire process start to finish, and we're going to figure out where this went wrong. If you're intaking enough, okay, we're getting it in. Are you absorbing it? Yes or no? Are you processing it and doing that next step correctly? Yes or no? Are you able to excrete things properly? Yes or no? In these step-by-step processes, this is human physiology. The way that functional medicine is really just studying actual human physiology and looking at the chain of events and figuring out what's not working correctly and then working with that, that's it. That's what it is. Sorry, I get so worked up about this because it's, to me, this is basic. And I look at the examples of my life, and I came from a background where, again, I grew up on a farm. We had gardens, we had fresh food and stuff all the time available. I ate healthy, right? I didn't eat fast food really or anything like that. My mom made home cooked meals all the time. She was an advocate for me. She took me to the doctor. She brought me to places. She tried her best, all these things. She listened to what everybody said. And that was their standard take on it all, though. Up until I was 23. Up until I was 23, I was anemic. And then I stopped eating gluten. And it was less than a year later, that was the first time I got pregnant with my son, right? Of course. It's about how your body functions and getting that restored. And so if your labs say, oh, this is normal, you don't feel normal, then it's not right. More often than not, you are in that state of dysfunction, which means there's a lot of things that we can do to bring you back into that functional state. It's not all is lost. We don't have to stay in that state of dysfunction. You don't have to just sit there for years, for decades, and struggle and suffer. unnecessarily suffer. You can do something about it. We can do something about it. It's about having somebody look at labs, talk to you, and really come to the conclusion of, okay, something is not right. We're going to do something about it. And we're going to get you functioning better and feeling better. The most common thing that I hear from women when we start working together, and I hear this within the first month, it can be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, within the first month, 99% of women will tell me as feedback, I feel better. I feel better. I'm not doing anything magic. There's no magic pill. There's no magic wand. There's nothing. What we do is we look at function. We look at labs differently. The whole team, all of us practitioners, we look at labs differently. Look at how your body functions. We listen to you and understand, okay, if this is something you're struggling with, if this isn't right, we're going to do something about it. And then we give you that guidance moving forward. That's what we do in this program. If you are not on the wait list for this program, make sure you're on the wait list. We are not going to be running this program like this moving forward. This is one of the last times we're going to be running the Female Hormone Solution program. So make sure you are on this wait list. Go in the show notes right now, click that link, get on the wait list to get notified. We do Dutch testing, we do urine testing, we talk about other things. We talk about your health history. We look at you as a whole. We look at other stressors and things in your life. We look at your lifestyle, right? If someone tells you, oh, you need to drink this much water a day, and you're like, I'm a teacher, I barely get a time to go to the bathroom during the day, I can't drink that much water during the day, we come up with a different solution for you to stay hydrated properly. It's not helpful for somebody to say, you need to drink this much water throughout the day. And you're like, yeah, I legit can't, right? There's always a workaround. There's always a way to do this. So it's about having a team of providers help you and guide you with the solutions for your life so you can live the life that you want to live and feel the best that you can feel. That's literally all it is. It's not magic. It's not rocket science. It's not whatever. That's it. And if you have worked with providers before or gone in and said, I was told I was crazy, or they wanted to give me an anxiety medication instead of dealing with my pain, or told me that, yep, you're just getting older. Of course you're tired. Meh. Well, your hormones seem to be a little off. Well, you're probably in perimenopause. Meh. And brush you off and don't listen and don't take your issues seriously. You're working with the wrong people. You are. It's time to step up and really work with people who understand functional levels, dysfunctional levels, and then things that are way out of range. Understand the difference and then what we can do about this. And then help you with the best plan moving forward. Otherwise, here's what I will tell you, and here's what I have seen time and time again. And I say this because this was also me. If you don't do anything different, it's not going to be different. Like I say, I was anemic for years. I took iron supplements. I took pills. I took powders and drinks. I remember this one. It was like this powder thing my mom got. I think it had spirulina in it. That was like one of the magic ingredients in there. It was this really weird canister thing, and it was gritty, and it tasted kind of like dirt and was slightly vanilla berry flavor. Like if I picture the canister in my head, I can literally taste it. It makes me almost gag. I would choke those down because that was supposed to help with my iron levels. Did it? No. Right? Because I also had really bad digestive issues and things like that. My stomach would be really upset, and I'd be like, I should just eat some saltines to help settle my stomach. Gluten, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. But no one else asked about it. I want you to think about this for you. This is where I want you to think, like, again, with the wait list, with everything else and everything else that we offer and how we work with women and the incredible results that we get. This is what getting your life back looks like. You should be able to wake up in the morning, do everything that you want to during the day and still feel good at the end of the day and be able to have the energy and capacity to be with the people that you love and enjoy your life. When all you do is wake up to push through your workday and then get home and crash, that's not a life. This is what we work on changing. You will be able to get your life back and live the life that you want to live because your body is healthy and strong enough to carry you through. So I don't believe, numbers don't lie on labs. Numbers don't lie, but we don't just look at normal and not normal. We look at functional. And that's the biggest thing overall. So that's what I got for you guys today. That is my big rant on labs not being normal. Again, make sure you're on the wait list. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know your feedback, right? And if you are thinking of someone else, please send them this. If you know someone who's like, gosh, I know she doesn't feel good, or this, we've talked about these things before. We talked about these health issues and blah, 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 blah. Send them this message. That's how we make a change. That's how we shift and change the dynamic, that we're not going to put up with, oh yeah, I don't feel good, but my lab said I was normal. Oh, right? No, that doesn't matter. You can have a dysfunctional lab and exist for years like that. It's time to make a difference. So share this message, talk to other women about this. Most women don't know this. And you can be the one that helps them see the difference and say, hey, you don't have to be exhausted like this all the time. Oh, you have headaches all the time? That's not normal. There's something else we can do about it. Let's deep dive into it and be a part of that change. So thank you for being here. I so appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you guys later, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.